my name is Shequita Raquel here on Beauty and the Queen on Queen TV, and on today's video we will be accomplishing this face here. So if this is something that you would like to accomplish with me, grab your makeup, come back to this video, and let's slay together. It'll be kind of like a talk through slash b-roll type of style. So if you're into those type of makeup tutorials, please stay tuned and don't leave without liking the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into this tutorial. Today is gonna be a makeup tutorial and stuff like that, and then I'm gonna do a separate video on suggested foundation. So after you watch this one, click down in the description box and click the link for the next YouTube video. So keep a lookout for that, because I get a lot of questions on suggested foundations, rather it be powders or liquids. So let's get into it. Okay, so for primer, I'm going to use two primers. The first one is going to be the First Aid Beauty Pore Be Gone matte primer, which looks like this. This is just gonna, if you have any pores, if you don't know what it is, if you look real closely, usually around in this section and definitely around your nose, you may see like dots, like little tiny holes into your skin. Those are your pores. So what this is going to do is it's going to kind of like glide over those pores to just make your skin look smooth all the way around. And then this is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, a oldie but definitely a goodie. And what I am going to do is I'm going to use the e.l.f. The e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer first. And then I'm going to go on top with the First Aid Beauty. And I do have a video on what you can do before you apply your makeup, your foundation. I'll link it. It should pop up somewhere here on the screen. You can refer back to that video, because those are all the things that I kind of do on like a weekly to bi-weekly basis to ensure that my skincare is on point up under my makeup and before or as a prep, however you want to do it. It's up to you. I'm just here to give you suggestions. So next I'm using the First Aid Beauty Pore Be Gone matte primer, and I'm just going to focus that right here in the center part of my face. Okay, so for a foundation, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Morphe Filter Effect Soft Focus Foundation, and this is medium to full coverage. I've used this a few times on my channel. I just, outside of using it on YouTube, I don't think I've like picked it up by itself. And for a foundation brush, I'm going to use the Morphe M439, which looks just like this. And I like how dense it is. The hairs on it is very short, but I still like it just kind of gives me an even blend on my face, just the way I need it to, because I don't want my makeup to look too cakey. I still want it to be realistic, but you still know that I have on makeup. And now what I am doing is I'm just stamping the brush all across my face. This is what I do to help ensure that I have my makeup evenly distributed on my face, which is why you saw me put little dots of makeup here and there on my face, because that is to help me get a even amount of foundation all over my face. And I also get questions too on how do I know how to match my foundation. You guys, it literally came through trial and error. It's kind of like when you natural, if you ever had natural hair, it's kind of like that moment where you're kind of like trying different products and stuff to see what works. I would suggest, if you're going to do that, start with something inexpensive, so that if it's not your shade, because some places won't allow you to bring back used products and then some will. I personally like places like Ulta and Sephora only because with those places they allow returns. However, you have places like Walmart and Target I'm not quite sure of, but I don't like to return things, so I can't really give you advice there. But I will, it's gonna be trial and error. I said all that to say it's gonna be trial and error. So kind of look at the bottle, see if it matches. If you can, sneak a little sample here and there. Kind of, if you like for your foundation to match your neck. Let's say if your neck is darker than your chest and your face, you may want to match the foundation to your neck because that's the darkest. Or you may say, I ain't worried about that. You may just want to match it up to, you know, your little chest area. You know, you can do that too. And then once you do that, wear the foundation, because some foundations do oxidize. Sit down, see if it oxidizes, meaning if it gets darker. And then you're gonna have to just play with it that way, sis. That's the best way that I can help you. Just knowing which shade range you're in. You may be in the deep dark, I think you got light, medium, and dark is usually like the 3 general categories. So light is like somebody like Caucasian. Medium may be like, or they have medium light, which is like for like those who are mixed. They kind of like, you know, between Caucasian, African American. Then you got dark, which is like somebody like me. And then you got deep dark, which is somebody darker than me. As a reference, like Lupita Nyong'o, or if you watch YouTube, we have a few girls on here that are on the darker, what they call a deep dark or dark shade range. So, you know, that's just to help anyone out. For concealer, I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. This is more on the pricier range. If you want like a cheaper alternative, I will suggest the LA Girl Pro Concealer. Those are good. And with the foundation, if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, I suggest the Maybelline Fit Me collection. Those are really nice in the drugstore. I used to swear by those for years when I first got into makeup. So those are the 2 inexpensive options that I can give you into what I'm using. And I'm going to put a little here. And I'm going to use a beauty blender to blend this out. First, I'm going to let this dry down a little bit with setting spray. Hold on. So I just like to let my concealer dry down so that you can get the maximum coverage from it. It's up to you. If you don't care getting like full coverage out of your concealers, then you don't have to do this step. You can just proceed to blend out. But if you are a person where you want to disguise any, because us as African Americans, we tend to be darker under our eyes and around our mouth. So if you are trying to conceal, which means to cover, then I think it would be best for you to let it dry down so that you can get maximum coverage from your concealer. And I dampened my beauty sponge, and I like for it to be not soaking wet, but not like dry to the touch. So right now it's damp and it has like a little bounce to it, and I'm going to proceed to blend this out, because certain concealers do, especially if you get a matte concealer, do blend out very quickly. And as you can see, I am just patting and kind of like stamping it to spread it out. And I feel like y'all far away. Let me bring you in. Okay, and see how I am just blending that out. So you see, and I like to go in an upward way because it lifts the face, and the concealer kind of gives you a bright eye effect also. So between lifting and brightening, it's gonna make you look awake. And then with this side, and again, I'm just patting. And I like to do this part with a sponge. I mean, I've done it with, I'm not opposed to blending it out with a brush. I just find for the look that I'm going for, which is like kind of like a little bit of a natural look, I prefer to use a sponge, because the sponge is gonna absorb a little bit of that product that you put on your face. So I'm just gonna blend that out that way. I have not put foundation down here in a long time, so I don't know quite what possessed me to do it now. I have not put concealer on my chin in like a very long time, so I don't know what that was about, but we're here. And then I'm just gonna blend this out. Now, if you want your forehead to appear smaller, like I feel like my forehead is kind of normal, but if you want it to appear smaller, you would just kind of like blend upward into your forehead, but I kind of want it to stay right here a little bit above my brow. So I'm just gonna blend it right here and kind of keep it there, and then blend the concealer down the nose. I do the concealer down the nose because I kind of like to highlight and contour my nose, meaning to give it either a different shape or emphasize the shape of my nose. So that's up to you if those are things that you're trying to accomplish with your makeup. And you'll learn what works for you and what doesn't as you proceed on with makeup and getting well acquainted. But someone who is new to makeup probably is not going to be worried about all of this. Okay, and then I'm going to go back with that foundation brush, and I'm just going to blend because we don't want any harsh lines. We want everything to kind of like blend well with each other. So that's the reason for doing this step. And I like to go in between the concealer and the foundation just to make sure everything is well blended. I am going to apply a little of contour. I don't do this all the time. Just depending on what I'm looking for, I will. And for that, I'm going to use the Color Perfect foundation stick. And this is by Black Radiance. And this is in the shade Espresso. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little right here. And this is where we want to add shadow on our face. So this is going to kind of give our face some shape. Going to give us a sculpted look. Some people just use the contour and foundation, and that is a very beautiful natural look as well, if that's something that you're into. So you have various options just depending on what it is that you're looking for when it comes into your makeup. And as you can see, I'm just simply blending it out. And you want to go in a upward motion. You don't want to go too far up into the concealer that we just blended out, but you want to make sure that, for one, everything is blended, and again, we want our face to look lifted. And I'm just stamping the product, and see the difference. It kind of gave it a little bit more sculpt, see? And then right here, it's just going like smoothly. So you see the difference? I hope you can. So see how that kind of looks like sucked in, and then this just looks flat. That's what we want, and this is why we do that. So I'm just gonna go and do the same thing to this side. And this, again, the contour is to add shadow, so I put it under here, you know, because I have a double chin. So we're just simply doing this to kind of like add extra shadow. See, just to add extra shadow to that area. Y'all, sorry, you may hear Micah. He likes to be featured in all of my videos. I can't wait till he get older and I pull these videos out and he hear his stuff in the background, because he probably not even gonna believe that it was him. Mom, that was not me. Oh, yeah. Yes, it was. And then I'm just going to go back with the tip part of that sponge. And I'm going to go back and blend out that concealer because we don't want it to crease. Next, I am going to go in with setting powder. And for that, I'm going to use my Laura Mercier powder, which looks like this. And I know you're thinking, okay, that looks a little too light for you, but this is a translucent powder. So it's translucent based off of my color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press that directly where we put the concealer. And I'm just going to push it into the concealer. Just like that. And this is just to set that concealer so it won't move, because once your makeup kind of warm up a little bit to your body temperature, sometimes we have like heat and it starts warming up the makeup and your makeup starts getting greasy and it starts moving. You like, wait, I put that contour here and now it's somewhere else. It's on my chin. I put it on my jaw, or I put it under my cheek, and you didn't set. So this is to set that liquid. You may be a person where you like, I don't have time for that, I just want the powder. Do that. It's all up to you. And I'm just setting it just like that. I'm going to set my contour, and for that I'm using the Revolution Glow Splendor Ultra Matte Bronzer in the shade Deep, which looks like this. Nice little neutral bronze shade. If you can't get to this, then CoverGirl also has a bronzer that you can use. They sell those in the drugstore as well. And I am just patting. We're gonna pat exactly where we put the espresso shade from Black Radiance. Okay, and I just like to pat on top of that and then worry about blending later. And then I'm not gonna tap any extra off. I'm just gonna put the rest of this on my blush under my chin. Okay, so remember I said I worry about blending later. So this would be the time that I start to blend. To blend, you can either use like a powder foundation to blend, or if you have access to it, I'm using the Sephora Micro Smooth powder, and this is in the shade 75 Hazelnut. And I'm just gonna take a real wide fluffy blending brush, tap into this, and what this is gonna do is all those different colors and shades that we use, it's gonna just marry everything together. Like, let me show you this side. Okay, so see how this side is obvious where I put that powder, the bronzer, and everything else. And then when you look on this side, you can't quite tell where everything stop and finish at. And I even go over where I put that concealer at, because I want it all to blend like just like that. And like I said, you can get a good foundation powder and it'll give you the same exact results. And I just like to pat and swirl that product in, and I don't give it a hard hand neither. I'm just grazing the skin. I'm not doing it all hard and ugly. Okay, next I'm gonna do like a blush, and for that I'm gonna use this Juvia's Place bronzed, and I'm gonna use this and this together because those two are a little too red and it gives me a nice blush color. So I'm gonna use this for blush instead of bronzer. And I'm just gonna tap right here and see how it kind of gives me an orange look right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows and I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, so for what the thing's called, my eyelids, I'm gonna use this Juvia's Place bronzer, what we use for like blush, and I'm just gonna put this right into my crease, and we're gonna do like a kind of like a, I would consider it simple, but you let me know in the comments below if this is a little too much for you. Sometimes I think I'm too simple when it comes to makeup, too much. Like, I feel like it's more that I should be doing. But I think because I see so many creatives out there who do makeup and they really like, they be going in, you hear me? But I'm gonna stay in my lane, boo-boo. Alright, so we got that in there just like that. And I like to kind of carry it a little bit down the nose just to give it a little and I want like a little shimmer on the eye. So what I am going to do is first go in with this Jelly Pop Face and Eye Gloss, which looks like, well, which looks like this. I'm gonna try not to waste it. And isn't that pretty? And I'm gonna put that down first on the eye. I'm not quite sure how this is gonna work out, but I'm gonna put this on the inner part of my eye and then into the inner tear duct. And I'm just gonna carry that into the crease. Then next, I am going to use the gold shade, which is by Color Pop, and it's called Here We Go Again, and it's their Super Shock Shadow. And I'm gonna put this towards the middle of the eye, and I'm gonna just carry that out this way. And then next, I'm gonna use this CoverGirl Chocolate Bronzer, but it's kind of shimmery a little bit. See? And I'm going to use that towards the outer corner of my eye. Then I'm going to go back with that brush and I'm going to kind of like clean it up some because it looked a little sloppy. And we're just going to blend over a little bit, just like that. And then I kind of want to deepen the outer part of my eye. So I'm going to go in with this bronzer again, which is the Revolution Glow. And I'm just going to put that right up in this area, just to deepen it just a little bit more. Okay, you guys, so now time for lips. So for lip, I'm going to use the Juvia's Place lip liner in the shade Cola. And it's the Luxe liner. It looks like this. And I'm just going to line up my lips. This just helps to give it like a ombre effect. Especially if you're wearing a light color on your lips. It just helps it give it a smooth transition between your actual complexion and the lighter shade. And for lip color, I'm gonna use the Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade Dread, which is a matte lipstick, which looks like this on the center. Okay, you guys, so this is all for today's video. I hope that you found it somewhat helpful, the products that I used and me explaining it. If you still have questions, sound off in the comment section below. I'll be glad to answer all of your questions. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Take care.